What's going on, everybody? Today is Wednesday, October 16th, episode 7 of Picks and Parlays. And I don't know how to feel right now. I'm little up, little down, because coming off the weekend, just fucking ripping through the weekend. Dick Picks won on a 2-0-2, if that even counts.
It cashed.
It has to count. It did cash. I finally had a profitable week. I did go 9-7 another week, but I lost all my parlays. So like in real life, I have not had a profitable week yet. So that was big. Not dragging the fucking Phillies around anymore. But then you and we got hit with the same bomb. Oh
Yeah.
who posted it? Who posted Osama bin Tomlin?
It was
Dante Jackson.
It was Deshaun
Oh yeah,
Elliott.
Deshaun Elliott. So I don't know if anybody saw that, but I might need to change all the socials avatars to Osama bin Tomlin. But you and I are kind of like the Twin Towers in this situation. We got
Yeah,
rocked by Osama bin Tomlin this week.
that's what I feel like right now.
Russell
It
Wilson is our starting quarterback.
it actually ruined my day yesterday. Like my
Mm-hmm.
whole day. I had a bad day because of the fact that Russell Wilson might be starting over Justin Fields. It ruined my day. I fucking am miserable still just thinking about him. Fucking let's ride Steelers country. I'm gonna want to kill myself on
And
Sunday.
the group chat tried to go in so many different directions after that got announced, and then it was just like every half hour, Corey just come back in. I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Dude, it's all I could think about. I'm fucking miserable. That makes me so miserable. I don't want to watch Russell Wilson play behind that offensive line with
Yeah,
really no wide receivers that can get open.
Justin Fields is the answer. Like he makes up for everything that we lack
Yeah,
because what we lack is an offensive line, and he can move his feet,
yeah, yeah,
among other things.
and he's made so many plays, like even if it's just a 5 yard rush to get us to 3rd and 3 instead of 3rd and 8, or like actually going and picking up the first down, he's done a lot. He's got 5 or so rushing touchdowns this year too, and a team like he's accounted for 10 touchdowns this year in a team that doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. Um,
Yeah, and like
and
1,300 total yards.
Yeah, and his best game was like stats wise was the Colts game that we lost anyway. And but it wasn't because of him. He brought us back into that game. And at the end of the day, we're 4-2 tied for first in the division, and I just don't see a reason to make a change at this point.
Yeah, based on how the roster is constructed, you'd think that like the Colts game, we made some mistakes, went down big early. You'd think we would have been so fucked like
Yeah.
immediately that day, and it's just like one of those teams that's not built to play from behind. And I still don't think we really are, but on that day, we did come from behind and we weren't dead, and
Yeah.
we had the ball in a score and you win the game situation with like 3 minutes left or whatever.
Yeah, after being down what 17 nothing early,
Mm-hmm.
early. And I mean, if the defense makes a fucking stop in the fourth quarter, the game's we're right there. We might have the ball at the end with the lead at the end of the game. But I mean that game wasn't really on him. He had a bad play there. Like 20-yard sack fumble was tough, but overall like he's been most of our offense this year because there's been games where we haven't been able to get the run game going like effectively. Naj had a really good game last week, but I don't see a reason to make a change or really even consider one right now. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I was on a plane for the second half of the Colts game, and that that sack fumble that he took, he was so good like up to that
Yeah.
point, and I didn't actually see it, and I just saw like a replay, and
Yep.
I was like, I don't even know if that's real, and I just kept going. I just
It
have been
was tough.
operating. I
Yeah.
forgot it happened until you just said it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he's had his moments like where he hasn't been good and he's missed guys, but you also know that's kind of what he seems to be at this point. But I'd still rather hope he gets better and keep doing what we've been doing because we're 4-2, tied
Yeah,
with the
he does.
Ravens right now.
He needs a little bit of touch on like intermediate passes. Like he can
Yeah.
throw a bomb, and then he can like throw like quick, 5 yard like play action rolling. Like his accuracy's definitely gotten better on those. But it's those
Yeah.
intermediate where it's like hit a guy in stride like 20 yards downfield, where it's usually a little underthrown or it's just zipped over the dude.
Yep. Yeah, and he really hasn't
By the
turned
dude,
over
I
the
mean
ball.
Pickens.
Yeah, yeah. He really hasn't turned over the ball much either. I thought he's been fine. He
Yeah.
hasn't really been careless with the ball, and he's kept us in games, and he's fucking won us games too. I just don't, and I guess Tomlin didn't say for sure if Russell Wilson's starting. I saw something he said they were considering it or heavily considering it. I don't remember exactly what the quote was, but they shouldn't be.
I don't know if he's trying to do like a a coach speaker or like a save your job type. Like I don't think his job's in jeopardy right now, but like
It
a
should
save,
be.
yeah, a save your job type move. But he's basically like Russell Wilson is getting first team snaps
Yeah,
more first team snaps than Fields. If Russell Wilson starts, then it's like what the fuck, like in reality, either way is stupid, but I think he's trying to set it up so that either way works. Where in
yeah,
reality, if Field starts, it's like, what the fuck? Why was he not taking first team reps all week?
yeah, yeah,
And if Wilson starts, then it's why the fuck are we benching this guy?
yeah,
But I think in his head, he can spin it to like Russell Wilson never lost his job, so we gave him the reps and he started. And if Fields starts after not getting first team reps, I am genuinely curious to see what he says. I'm sure he will not disappoint me because it's Mike Tomlin,
yeah.
but I would love to see that argument for why that was a good idea.
I well, you know this. I've never been the a fire Tomlin guy. I think
Mm,
there's times he's gotten himself in the hot seat and gotten himself out of it. I've never been a fire Tomlin guy. If this derails our season, I think I'm going to
yep.
be on that train because it is making an unnecessary quarterback change is baffling to me. And I think, like you said, he got hurt, he never lost the job. That's fine. It's also, he wasn't here last year, and what did he win it in training camp?
Right.
As far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, what matters is that we're 4-2 right now, and the guy playing is fucking playing well.
Right. What is your if we did fire Tom? Let's say the Russell Wilson thing it fucks it up. We have a real tough second half, right? So let's say we lose both of these next two games, go into the bye, we keep Russell Wilson, we don't switch back to Fields until it's kind of too late. Let's say it's like, but that's the thing is like even if like 8 and 9, I don't think we fire Tomlin. Like
No,
let's say 7 and 10, which we'd have to fall for only 4 more wins or 3 more wins the rest of the year. That would be fucking rough. But
yeah.
let's just imagine he gets fired. What do you have a? You're kind of on the spot, but what do you have like a dream scenario for uh, a guy who would be the next head coach that is actually attainable? Like I don't think like obviously Belichick is out there. I don't think that's a real expectation for really any team.
I have one
I
that
have one
I
too.
think I would like. It's Ben Johnson
Oh
from
my
the
god, that's
Lions.
mine.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude, he uses running backs so fucking well.
yeah. And it's early for this because we still don't even know who's playing. But that would be my number one
Yeah.
if we went in that direction, because I think the defense is still good, and maybe we get like an uptick from the offense from just a core. Like, I mean, he clearly has it as far as
Yeah.
like being an offensive mind goes, but I don't know. I don't want to have to fire Mike Tomlin. I like Mike Tomlin. I think in the past he's left some to be desired in kind of like the Killer Bees era, but that was a while ago. And I think the last I know Steelers fans are tired of the Mike Tomlin another winning season, but like no playoff wins. We, in my opinion, probably didn't have a good enough roster to deserve a winning season the last few. I'm fucking Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph were starting games for us,
Yeah, it's just
and we
getting
still
blown out in the
made the
wild card round
playoffs.
every week or every game.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not like we lost to the Chiefs and the Bills the last 2 years, right?
Yeah,
And I mean, fuck, we just weren't as good as them.
right.
The worst loss that I can remember still is the fucking Jags in the playoffs
Yeah,
at home.
that.
I'm never gonna forget that. That was miserable. And I don't know. I don't want to have to fire him, but even if he goes to Russ for 2, 3 games and we fucking lose three of that, two out of three or something,
Yep.
that could be the difference there. Because you still got like, I
Considering who we
don't,
have left on the schedule, if we lose the next
yes,
two,
yeah, we're in
those are going to be
trouble.
games that you really wish you won.
Yep.
Those and the
And I
Cowboys.
I don't think I mean the Bengals are in a fucking hole, but I don't think we've like heard the last of them this season. The
Hmm.
Browns are dead. The Ravens are a fucking wagon in the division. And then if you lose to the Jets, that's more than likely a team you're going to be in the wild card hunt for, like or with, I mean. But yeah, and then the AFC's not bad this year.
Yeah,
There's going to be a lot of teams fighting for that around that 9-10 win spot, I think, and which is also why I just am ready to ride with Justin Fields for the rest of this year and the future. If like now, like the way he's been playing, I'm fine if he's our quarterback next year based on how these first 6 games have gone.
yeah. I want to know what it would be like if Tomlin did get fired hypothetically, and we got an offensive coach because we always have a defense. Well, we always have Tomlin or
Yeah,
Cower in our lifetime,
Cower.
and it's so the DC is always this guy who kind of lurks in the shadows, and like especially since Dick LeBeau,
Yeah,
and
I was
so
gonna say that. Yeah.
it's always just a guy who like I don't think Tomlin's called the defense in a really long time, so it's just
Hmm.
like this guy that like, even when the defense is bad, like gets a pass because Tomlin's the defensive guy. The OC is always out in front. I
Oh
want to know
yeah.
what happens if we get an offensive minded head coach, and then like what does Artie Smith do? Like that mustache cannot be a focal point. He's just
No,
gonna like sit in the corner really sad with like
I
his vest
guess
on.
yeah.
Like
I would imagine he'd probably leave if like
what if he's the heir apparent?
oh my God, no, I can't.
That feels
That is
like a
something we would do. Well, I guess we
yeah.
went
It is.
outside. We went outside to hire Tomlin and Cower. We don't have a lot to go off of.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much.
But
But
yeah,
all the coordinators have been promotions before
yeah,
Artie.
yeah. Which I'm very glad it wasn't this time. We had to get someone new, and they did. Not, I'm not sure that I love the Artie Smith offense, but it's it's not Matt Canada.
Yeah, it's definitely better.
So
Also, when you were talking about Fields not really throwing or turning the ball over, it reminded me of this game. I don't know who the play-by-play guy was for this game. I forget who it was, but here's an interception. He goes, Justin Fields rifles it to the other team. And he did that. He did that to the other team for fucking. There was an Aiden O'Connell pick that he did that for too, and
oh yeah,
I gotta remember who he is because that was so fucking funny.
I remember that. Yeah, yeah, that was a beatdown this week, which we don't really have to talk about that, but
Yeah,
again, after that game, I just don't feel like making a change is what we need to do.
yeah. Well, speaking of, so the Steelers play the Jets this week. The Jets are kind of the other like in the news team. And this we could kind of segue right into picks right now, because this is one of the games that we're picking Sunday Night Football. The Steelers are 1.5 point dogs at home against the Jets. Over under is 38.5. The Jets, one of my favorite tweets from Monday night or Sunday night football this week was Monday night, Sunday night,
Monday. They were
Monday
Monday.
night. Yeah, I for some reason thought I remembered watching it at Olivia's apartment, but yeah, my favorite thing from Monday night football was somebody said he was like, "Fuck, we gave up 110 penalty yards and our kicker missed 2 field goals, whatever." Like, an easy way to solve this would be just to sign or to trade for a 31-year-old receiver. I was like, "Yep, solves all of the
Solves
problems."
all the problems. Keeps the
Those Jets
quarterback happy.
jerseys are really starting to look like 2020 Packers jerseys.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't love that this happened right before we play them.
We wasn't healthy enough to play for the Raiders last week.
Yeah,
Now
but
he's
he's
fine.
healthy enough now. He's just good to go.
Yeah.
2 weeks
He,
of 2 weeks in a row of Devontae Adams against how this secondary's been playing would have killed me.
yeah. It would have been JPJ and it would have been, well, I don't know if he
Uh,
fucking, I've really enjoyed our other cornerbacks. They at
yeah,
least cause
Dante
turnovers.
Jackson,
Yeah.
Beanie Bishop fucking killed us against
Yeah.
Indy,
Okay.
but
Well, I don't count him. But
yeah,
Beanie
but yeah,
Bishop.
Dante Jackson, I didn't know what to think about him. He had a good game this week, but early on I was like, he had like the interception. He also got cooked a good bit, I think, also in the Indy game. So I was like, is this guy just a pick or a 20-yard gain every
Yeah.
time? But I thought he played well last week.
Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, so the Jets, well, I guess they have Garrett Wilson too. So regardless,
yeah,
JPJ's
yep.
he's going to hold somebody here. But I can't switch to that take though that he's bad. I don't think
No,
he's
I'm not
bad.
there yet. I'm not there yet.
Um, but yeah, let's start with this one. Jets -1.5 at the Steelers. Over under 38.5. I'm struggling with this because I want the end result of the game to be that Russell Wilson needs to sit and that Justin
Yeah,
Fields needs to play. I also don't want us to lose. So I think I might take the under because I think that there's going to be Russell Wilson can't really move. And I think even with Devontae Adams coming over, you would think that it's kind of a shot to the system of the Jets. But I kind of feel like Rodgers does this thing where he only trusts certain guys,
yeah,
and Garrett Wilson has not made that list. And I actually think Garrett Wilson might be the. I mean, aside from prime Devontae Adams, he's like the best receiver that Rodgers has played with since
yeah.
like Greg Jennings, maybe.
Jordy
So, and
Nelson.
yeah, and he
Yeah,
might even be better than those guys.
yeah.
So, and he's just right in front of him, and Rodgers fucking hates his guts. And so I think that there's going to be an interesting thing of like there's too many guys to cover. I think it might be actually forcing the ball to Devontae a little bit. Our defense, if we could generate a couple turnovers. I know Rodgers isn't historically a turnover guy, but he's had a
No.
couple weird games this year. I think the big thing is going to be our run defense because Brees Hall hasn't been great, but like when they get near the goal line, like the Brees Braylon Allen combo, like we're
Yeah.
gonna give up a big ass hole and just let one of those guys score.
Yep. I think it's our defensive line has to dominate this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the run game and rushing the pass, they have to. Because if they don't, we're kind of fucked, I think.
Yep.
Like, TJ's TJ every week. You know, I fucking love him. He's awesome. But like, Benton's been good. Just needs to keep fucking stuffing holes. Just keep
I
filling
love
holes.
he is a hole stuffer.
He is. He is. Is Herbig gonna play? I don't know if Herbig's gonna play this week.
I don't think he is.
I think Highsmith is still out.
Yeah.
So someone, yeah, it's gonna be tough. But I think we just, Cam and Benton plug those holes. TJ off the edge. They gotta dominate against not very good offensive line. They have to.
So
And
what it? Oh, go
I
ahead.
think, oh man, I hate this. I hate this. If because we still don't know who's starting at quarterback for the Steelers.
Yeah, yeah. Field starts. I want to pick the Steelers.
Yeah. That's kind of where. So if Fields starts, I'm in the same boat as you. I want him to be starting next week, no matter kind of what. Like, if we lose, he should start the next week, and I'll kind of like I can live with that. So I think I'm gonna go. If Justin Fields is the starter, God, this is tough. I'm gonna bet the Steelers. If he's not, my pick will be the Jets, and I won't bet this game.
Yeah, I think I want us to win 3-0 is what I've
Yeah.
decided, or maybe
Yeah,
two
that'd
to
be great.
nothing. Just be a safety.
Yeah, defensive touchdown, something that, yeah.
Yeah. Um, all right, we got. Other than that, we've got a great slate this week. There's a couple gross games, but there's a lot really big games with really big implications, as big as implications as you can have this early in the season. First one, Lions plus 2.5. The Lions are an underdog at the Vikings, over under 49.5. I have been searching for the get right spot on the Vikings. I've bet against them a lot. It's been a bad strategy for me. They were luckily on a bye this week. So on one hand, they are off bye, right? The second hand, the
Yeah.
Lions, they've been preparing for this game since 5 minutes after their game against the Cowboys started. So I think you could go either way. For me, it's just the Vikings 5-0. Also, we saw that graph that got put in the group chat today, and it is how open your receivers get and how accurate you are.
Yeah.
And it was great because Justin Fields, his receivers do not get open. They're very low in terms of the league and as far as getting open, but his accuracy is like I think he was like the sixth highest guy in terms of
Yeah.
accuracy. So that was
Yeah.
really great.
We might have to
Somebody,
share that graphic on put that on our page, on the
yeah,
Twitter page or something. Yeah.
yeah, because Sam Darnold, despite the crazy start, his receivers get open slightly above league average, and his accuracy is way below league average. And so I don't know if it's just that you can survive on that when you're throwing to Justin Jefferson,
Mm.
or if it's like an actual problem that's about to get corrected. But
Yeah.
either way, I've bet a lot worse teams against the Vikings than the Lions. The Lions are a team I really believe in. So I'm just going to bet the Lions. I know they're on the road. I know the Vikings are off a bye. Feels like everything should come up Vikings, but I'm just going to say fuck it and bet the Lions. I
Yeah.
have to get this right at some point. I have to. Monkey
I'm
off my
kind
back
of
game.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I feel like the Lions, even though the Vikings are off a bye, I feel like the Lions are the better team and probably should be favored because I don't know that even though they're undefeated and they played well, I don't know that people think that they're a better team than the Lions.
Don't the Lions
Um,
only have one loss
yeah, they do to the
to the
Bucks, I
Bucks, right?
think.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Vikings are better than the Lions. I think it feels taking the Lions and getting points here feels kind of feels like a square bet to me, but I'm gonna take it because I'm gonna feel like a fucking idiot if I'm like the Lions got points and I didn't bet it and they ended up winning by 10.
Right. Like
So,
if the
yeah.
Vikings kill Sam Darnold, you would feel really dumb if you bet on the Vikings.
Yeah.
Unless they were like
Yeah.
plus 10
Yeah, and I don't
preseason.
and I think Hawkinson might be back this year. I was looking at him in our in fantasy and he's projected points, so he might be back. I don't know. Probably like it's been a while, so he probably won't be full TJ Hawkinson this week, but still another weapon the Vikings are getting back. But I think I'm going to go with the Lions here. I think they're really cooking these last few weeks, and I'm just going to ride that until it dies.
Yeah, me as well. There's so many guys I love on the Lions too. It's so
Yep,
easy to root for them because I love
yep.
every dude that touches the ball.
Jameer
Um,
Gibbs, I love him. He's so fun. He's
Jameer
so
Gibbs,
fast.
Amon Ra is my fucking guy.
Yep.
I've gained a what is the word? I feel affliction. That's a bad thing. What is the affection? Affection.
Affection.
I have an affection for David Montgomery. It's just
He
like
just runs hard.
yeah, when he touches the ball, it gets in the end zone. That's just what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
I used to be like, what the fuck? Give Jameer Gibbs the ball, but
Yeah.
after watching Montgomery in Chicago for so long and it being like he's an average running back, I guess. It's like, nope,
Yeah.
he's actually been sick. He was on the Bears.
Yeah. He just had a shit offensive line and no passing game for 4 years.
Yeah. All right. Next game. Texans plus 2.5 at the Packers, over under 47.5. I saw an interesting video this week of somebody driving through the streets of Green Bay and they're just holding their phone over here and it's just like one floor house, one floor house, one floor house, and then it's just the stadium. It's right
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
right
It's just
there.
right in there. Yeah.
I don't understand. I guess I've always known this, but how do guys like, what's even the point of getting like a $30 million deal if you play for the Packers?
Yeah. I don't
Like, what do you
know. I mean,
do?
you have that money, but you're in fucking Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's not
Yeah.
even like actually a city.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've now been there and I'm like, what the fuck is who the fuck lives here?
I think I like, what'd you say it was 47.5 was the total?
Yeah.
I think I like the over here. I think there's going to be some points. Both offenses have been pretty good. Both defenses are fine. But I think there's going to be some points here. I could see like a 28-24 finish, something around there. Um, and the line, I don't love it either way, kind of. So I'm just going to take the total, pray for points. I've been
Yeah.
on some Packers overs this week, or this year. They feel like they've done all right when I bet them, so I'll stay with that. I'll take the over.
Yeah, this is the kind of game that I really thrived on last week, where I feel like I picked out a lot of games where I said this team doesn't feel like they should be favored by whatever this line is. Everybody's going to
Yeah,
be like, "What the fuck is that?" They're going to bet the other side, and I feel like this is another one where the
yep,
Texans crunch the Bills. The Packers, they've been iffy this season, but Jordan Love, I think last week was the first week that he was fully healthy, and if you put these two lineups next to each other on paper, you probably take the Texans.
yeah,
But it's it's just one of those things where a really good team and a really good team plus one penny or whatever, like
yeah, yep,
it's I get that 2.5 is enough for, two teams of this caliber, like Texans getting points, but Packers are at home. It's just one of those where it feels like they shouldn't be favored, and so
yeah,
for that reason, I'm gonna bet them because a good team where it's like, why are they favored? Always wins,
yep, yeah,
and that's the
yep.
that's the golden rule.
And it's not cold time yet, but it is colder in Green Bay than it will be in
Yeah,
Houston.
it's getting
So
chilly.
it is
I
getting
will say
chilly.
in this part of the country, it is getting a little
Yeah,
chilly. Um, all right, up next, another one that I can't believe this team is an underdog, but Chiefs plus 1.5 at the 49ers, over under 47.5. I feel like it's so stupid to not take points when it's the Chiefs,
yeah,
but unless they're going to go undefeated, they got to lose to somebody. And this
yep.
feels like one that they could lose. And the 49ers haven't, I feel like they've underwhelmed, but they're low key hitting their stride. And I think I'm going to bet the 49ers.
I think I might be with you there. I'm gonna talk myself through this one real quick because I know the 49ers have been underwhelming. The Chiefs are undefeated. They also haven't like looked like a juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like they're beating teams by 20 every week. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're just winning these games, which they are very good at. They win close games, a lot of them. They never cover a fucking 6 point spread. against a team that's way worse than them. They just don't like. I guess they just did against the Saints a few weeks ago, but either way,
But that's a
um,
fuck the Saints thing, not
yeah,
like Chiefs
y
are. Yeah.
yeah, the Saints are just falling off a cliff. I kind of like the under here. This
Mm.
I just don't know what to think about either. Like I think both teams are good. A point and a half either way, it just makes me nervous. They're at San Francisco, you
At
said,
San Francisco.
right? Yeah. I'd probably lean San Francisco just because they're at home. I think I'm going to go with the under. The Chiefs defense is good. The Niners defense has been fine. Like you said, I think both teams are hitting their stride. I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game. But yeah, I'll go with the under. I think the Chiefs, their offense just hasn't really done it for me this year so far. Which
Yeah.
it's Patrick Mahomes, but like as far as like, picking a total, I feel like they've been unders. So I'll go with that. 47 and a half. I'll go under.
Yeah, I feel like that shit happens in sports where this Chiefs team, they're 5-0, and I don't think either of the last two Super Bowl teams started 5-0.
Yeah.
But I also think this Chiefs team is the worst of those three.
Yeah. Yep.
So
With no Rushy Rice and Pacheco right now.
yeah,
I mean, they still
uh,
have Kelsey, but it feels like they're just like they're not the same offense they have been the last few years.
yeah. Um, Dude, what if Travis Kelce? This is a intrusive thought. I might just cut this because it's such a stupid comment. But what if he just starts doing like High School Musical shit with Taylor Swift in the middle of these?
Just
I
down on the
cannot
field.
believe nobody like. Have you ever watched High School Musical?
Yeah.
Okay, I very, very not famously, but very famously, at an Airbnb, uh, did a duet of High School Musical with Eric's girlfriend at one of our friends' weddings,
Fuck, I
and
forgot about that.
yeah,
I
I know
forgot
way too.
I forgot you did that.
There was there was a random time when I had really bad grades for a portion of college, and there was a semester that I just knew the report card was not going to be good, and I came home the first night and I was like, I don't know how to like tell my parents that my grades are so bad. And I thought it over by just staying up till like 3 in the morning, and I watched all three High School Musical movies for no reason. I just watched them all.
Dude,
But
there's no way NG took that well.
no, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back, and then I'll. And right before I made it back, I got a letter in the mail about my grades. My parents were like, "What the fuck, dude?" It was like the day before I was gonna go back. I was like packing my
Oh,
shit. I had like 4 more waking hours left in the house, and
oh
they were
my
like,
God.
"What the fuck is this?"
That happened to me also. My grades were pretty shitty after my sophomore year, and it was, August. I was getting ready to go back. I'd switched majors. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I was like, my parents were kind of talking to me, and they were like, "Hey, what do you think? We gotta pick this up or something." And because I just wanted to play baseball, like
Yeah.
that, I just wanted to keep playing baseball. They were like, "Yeah, you got to pick this up and like, figure it out, get these grades up because they were rough." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna drop out, I think." So that's what
Problem
I did.
solved. No more
Yeah,
bad
no
grades.
more grades. You can't get bad grades if you don't get grades at all. So
Yeah.
I think I'll just not deal with this anymore. So
Yeah. But yeah, that's a roundabout way of getting to. There's a scene in the beginning of High School Musical 3 where Troy Bolton, he's like, it's the big game. I guess I don't even know if he plays like a big game at the end of that one, but like yeah, they're like playing a big game, and he's just singing about how really tired he is, and then during a timeout, like all the lights turn off, and then Vanessa Hudgens just stands up and there's a spotlight on her, and she starts singing. I was like, imagine if Travis Kelsey like got hurt and then like Taylor Swift just like a spotlight went on her and she started singing.
he gets
Yeah,
the tap and it's just fucking up to Taylor in the box.
yeah. They have that fucking camera shot ready already. So
Oh yeah, they got it. There's a light on her somewhere.
yeah. um, but yeah, so that's the Chiefs analysis. All right. Next game. This is a big one for us. Ravens -3.5 at the Bucks. Over under 48.5. I feel like this is the opposite of the last two I was saying, where it's, good team who is a favorite, but they're probably playing a team that's better than them, and it's like, well, good spot to take the favorite. Um, the Ravens, I think, are the better team and are the favorite, but they're on the road, and 3.5's a little bit more. I could
Yeah.
see the Bucks holding it to a field goal. It feels like one where the offense defense could go either way enough that I know as soon as I set eyes on the total, it's going to go the opposite way of whatever I bet. So I might just go with my heart and take the Bucks and hope they can lose by a field goal. I think I'm just emotional bet. That's what I'm going to do here.
I'm scared that the Ravens, to an extent, I'm scared because they always end up losing in the playoffs anyway. I'm scared that they're a wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They faced such a
and
hard stretch just now, and they didn't fucking lose.
no,
I
no,
can't believe
dude,
they lost
they're
to the Raiders.
yeah, that's gonna be the game of the. We look back and we're like, how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
By, but no, I think I'm on the Ravens here until they stop smacking teams around. I'm just gonna keep betting them because if they're gonna win, I'm gonna want to make money on it
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna make me miserable. So I'm gonna take the Ravens 3.5. I think there's like every Ravens game, there's a world where they win by 20, or there's a world they have six turnovers and lose by 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't
And you just
like I
can't pick when that's going to happen.
no, you never know when it's gonna happen. There will be a game, another game this year, same as games they have every year where they're up 14 in the fourth quarter and they lose. They
Yep.
just do that sometimes.
And it's
Um,
not even turnovers. They just go anemic on offense.
yeah, they just stop playing offense. And
Lamar's tummy hurts.
yeah, yeah, I'm just until they stop smacking teams around, I'm gonna keep betting them. As much as I hate it, I just they're good. I'm gonna ride with them. I think the Bucks are good too, but I don't I think the Bucks are good. I don't know how good they are necessarily. So I know the Ravens are good. I'm gonna bet the Ravens, and this game is gonna have a lot to do with how I feel about the Bucks on kind of the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They have that win
Measuring
against the
stick.
Lions. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens 3.5. Until they prove me wrong.
I also don't understand. I've never understood Derrick Henry. I have this theory with him, or it's not even a theory. It's just an observation where he's so fucking huge. And I heard somebody say on the Ravens broadcast last week that he's the most physical running back in the NFL. And on paper, it's like, yeah, he's fucking huge. He's powerful. Like, yes. When's the last time you saw Derrick Henry like run over somebody, but like between not in the open field, like not a D
Yeah,
back,
not a
like
cornerback.
he
Yeah.
like he meets a linebacker and just runs the dude over. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if it's ever happened.
It is crazy because it's really not his style, even though he's just absolutely huge. Like, he's
Right,
not.
he's like light on his feet.
Yeah.
Where I
Yeah.
actually think where he's best is like 5 to 10 yards away from the goal line. It's just like, all right, time to everybody like buckle your chin strap. Like we're gonna have to fucking take down Derrick Henry, and then he just kind of like tiptoes around everybody and goes in untouched.
Yeah. It's weird because he's so big, but he's the best when he gets on the edge,
Yeah,
I think. Like, when
he's
he
the
hits the
stretch guy
corner and you
or
have a
toss guy.
5'11", 190 cornerback that's got to fucking take him down on his own, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
Um, and it's also like when he gets hit in the backfield, it's
he goes down
over.
immediately.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
over. It's so weird watching him play because he's so huge. But like, yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know why it's like that. It just is.
he's good and bad at the same kind of plays as like Jamal Charles. It's like
Yeah,
why?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
dude
yeah,
or like CJ2K, where it's like he's plays like he's a sprinter, and when he gets hit, he goes down like he's a sprinter, but then
yeah.
he's however the fuck big he is, like 240 pounds. I don't even fucking know. That's
Yeah,
what I would guess.
massive.
But
He wouldn't
um,
be good behind the Steelers' offensive line. I just thought of that in my head.
no, he
Like he
would
wouldn't
not.
be a good fit right now because Najee gets hit in the backfield every fucking play.
Yeah. Um, Oh, I forgot we did the Jets first. So yeah, that's all the picks. I never recapped last week, so we could real quick do that. Eric, 11-3 last week. I think that's the
Jesus
best weekend
Christ.
anyone's had because we've had a couple. I think you've had an 11-win week. He's had a couple now, but with the buys, this is like the least amount of games it's taken someone
Yeah.
to still get 11 wins. I was 10-4, fucking big one for me. And in real life, two of those losses pushed. So that was big. You were 9-5, still very solid. Mag's 8-6. You should have just followed the graphic last week.
What a week.
And then the overall, Eric, 59.8%. I had to look back too because he is week one. I was making fun of him because he had a terrible week one.
Uh-huh.
From week two on, he's 49-27. He's
That's
up
insane.
22 games above 500. So
That's
that translates
crazy.
to probably like 19 units, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, he is a big, like, kind of like what I've been doing in the group chat, like just complaining about sucking. I've been doing that a
Uh-huh.
lot. He's a big, like, won't let you stop hearing it when he's not doing well. And I have kind of noticed he's been really quiet. And I think he's just stacking bands over there.
Yeah.
he,
He's gotta be, dude. He's on fire. I had
um,
some tough luck. I think I had a few half-point losses last week too.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
9-5 or whatever it was. I won't complain about, but very close to being better than that. I think my dick pick, the total that pushed for you guys, I got it at 47 and a
Yeah.
half and lost.
You took one for the team,
So,
though.
yeah, yeah.
So did your dick pick parlay lose, too?
Oh yeah, because I had a half point the wrong way on two of the picks. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I had the 47 and a half and who was
Mags's.
yeah, what
I
was
forget
his
what he
someone
picked.
plus six, whatever it was. I had six and a
Oh,
half, yeah.
Commanders.
Yep.
It moved to +7, yeah.
Or plus seven, yeah, and I had
Yeah.
him at six and a half.
Yeah, I wrote down 6.5, and it was 6.5 when I just had to decide on some other stuff. And then
Yeah.
when it actually got put in, it was +7.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so you're still at 51.7%, or sorry, not 51, 57.1%. Mags is at 51.6, and even after the big week, I'm at 46.2%.
Almost
Um,
there. Another
yeah,
one.
it's starting to get to where a game over 500 is worth like half a percentage point. So
Yeah.
I need to have a couple big weeks in a row here. But
Yeah.
um and yeah, like you mentioned, dick picks. Eric's 4-2. You're 3-2-1. I'm 3-3. Mags 2-3-1. So overall, a very successful week. I think. What is like the profitability line? Isn't it like 53% ish? Right?
Something like that.
Yeah, on straight bets. And as a group, if you just take everybody's record and combine it, we're 53.7%. So
Hey, there it is.
there it is. There you go.
There it is. Yeah, we'll take
Um,
that.
some some college football. I feel like the biggest thing, Oregon beating Ohio State. I don't. I think either Oregon is definitely they've gone from huge frauds to for real in about a month, or Ohio State was never as good as people thought. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not an Oregon believer. I bet on Ohio State. We, by the way, can never put out picks for college football. I will be 30%. It
Yeah,
just is terrible. I don't do it that much, but when I do, I lose.
yeah,
And I thought Ohio State was kind of going to go in there and push them around a little bit,
me
even
too.
though they're not known for being physical. Their roster is just so good. They have the run, their weapons on offense are unbelievable. I don't really know what happened to their defense. Like
It's
that
gone.
was,
It gone.
yeah, that was bad. That was bad. I don't, I mean, it is a tough, as far as like a college football game goes, traveling across the country,
Hmm.
road game, big spot. Because I think we're seeing in the Big Ten, the teams that have traveled to the West Coast are losing
Yeah.
football games out there a lot,
And the West
often.
Coast teams traveling east are losing too.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I definitely think differently of Oregon than I did before this game. I think of Ohio State, I thought they were going to be a real wagon. Like, I kind
Mm.
of thought they were going to coast to the Big Ten title. And I think if they do play again in Indy, like if these teams meet again, I would like Ohio State again. Um, but maybe not as invincible as I thought they would be in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Me as well. I think this is going to be the Big Ten championship game because I think Ohio State is a big take care of business in the Big Ten kind of team.
Yeah,
Obviously, Oregon, like you said, there's a lot of factors that make it a non-standard game for Ohio State, but like they've really only consistently lost to Michigan for a couple years now, and other than that, in the last like 10 years, no,
yeah,
not one single team has had their number. So
no,
I think if they're the one loss team that has to win out to get to get there, that's fine. And if Oregon's the team that can afford to drop one and still get there with
yeah,
one loss, that feels like it. Also, I saw a screenshot of Kyle McCord starting his slide with 1 second left. He was
yeah, yeah,
past the first down marker, so people were like, "Oh, like should they have gotten one more?" First of all, you either have to spike the ball, which still runs a second off the clock, or you have to swap the field goal unit out right then. But
yeah,
also, if you run up the middle of the field as time is expiring, go fuck yourself.
yeah. You don't
You
deserve it.
deserve
Yeah,
to lose.
yeah. That just
Yeah.
is what it is. Sorry about it. I'm
Um.
fine with how that game ended. Like it is, they fucked up. It's over. Whatever.
The big one for you, Penn State beat USC in overtime. Um. I did have a take. I was kind of talking about in the group chat. I don't get how I understand Penn State's taking care of business more than Miami, but I just feel like if you have a one loss Georgia, that their one loss is in a crazy game against Bama, who's also a top 10 team, and Bama's better than anybody's Penn State played. Like I think
Yeah.
if you're able to be above Miami and it's like you're above a power four undefeated team, you I feel like they should be above Penn State. But ultimately, like who fucking cares about the rankings? It'll get sorted.
Yeah. I don't know what's Penn State's now number three. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they're the third best team in the country. I mean, I'll fucking take it, but I they really need to take care of business for the rest of the year. That was a huge win for like they had to have that game. Huge comeback in the second half. Tyler Warren all over the fucking place. Drew Aller, good second. He had the picks, but I mean one was on a Hail Mary, whatever. I thought he played generally well. Um I thought they looked really, really good in the second half. First half was just brutal, but coming back, that's not a game that we come back and win in my general experience as a Penn State fan. It just doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
Um, so that was huge because if we beat the teams that we are better than for the rest of the year, it's just the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Like if you have no
Oregon.
slip ups, oh shit, we do play Oregon. No, I thought we didn't. I thought we played Washington.
I might be wrong, but
I
you
think
keep
we just
talking.
play Washington. But that's a one loss, and your one loss being to Ohio State probably gets you to the playoff.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Oh, they play Wisconsin. They have a bye, then they play
That's a
Wisconsin.
that's a big one at night in Camp Randall.
You're right. They
That's a
don't play Oregon.
yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm going to that game. I just got
Are you
tickets
really?
yesterday. I forgot to tell you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's gonna be fucking
heading over to
sick.
Madison. Yeah, great seats with game time. Sponsor the fucking pod. They actually are fucking great seats. I've been to Camp Randall a couple times because Olivia went there, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. Um, it is like a weird. It's a weird thing. I think it's the only stadium I've ever been in where if you are walking around like street level, you go through like security. It's like two steps up, and you're like in the concourse. You could like high five people that are in the concourse. And if you go through one of the entrances to the stadium, you are now like 2/3 of the way up to the top of the stadium. It's like a bowl, like downward in.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
sick.
like below street level.
I like that. I like that State College's high school team there when I would go watch my brother play up there. They have the same, obviously there's nothing above it, but it's you walk around
Yeah.
street level and the stadium's down. It's pretty fucking cool.
I wonder, like, acoustically, I feel like maybe I should know this as an engineer, but I wonder if that traps sound better. Because if you're like, low and then there's all the sounds of, like, the city
Yeah.
above you, I wonder if it makes it louder in there.
Yeah. It
That's an interesting thing. I
feels
might.
like to me the answer would be yes. I don't fucking
Yes.
have any. I dropped out, like I
Yeah,
said.
it's something that I think if you said it confidently, no one would question it, which means it's probably
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Um, other big stuff, kind of rip through these quick. Bama, very close winning on South Carolina. Um,
Yuck.
Texas smacked Oklahoma. This one, I wrote it down just because Illinois is ranked. I totally missed this game. They beat Purdue 50-49.
Yeah. Yeah.
I maybe need
That's
to go
like
watch highlights of that.
That's like 3 years worth of points for those two teams in one
Yeah,
game.
it's crazy.
Yeah, that was insane. That game was crazy because Illinois they were up and Purdue came storming back. I think it went to overtime,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
it
wasn't
did.
watching it either. Yeah,
Yeah, what I was watching, Pitt beat Cal to stay undefeated 17-15. We had just this, I don't know how old he is, but he looked like potentially a freshman with like a 55% make rate for Cal. He just had like he was kicking, it was like a 35 yarder, and I saw those stats pop up and I was like, I think we might be good. And he missed it, and that was with like 3 minutes left. We still let them get the ball back, but
Jesus Christ.
that was pretty much the ender. So that's one where it's like, Cal kept it close, but if you're watching the game, no, we pretty much deserved to lose, like we have a couple times this season. But
Yeah,
I am not here to apologize for being 6-0, nor will
no, I wouldn't either.
I.
I got a big game coming up, not for me this week, but kind of for me. My girlfriend's a huge Texas fan, and
Yeah.
that's a big one.
Do you
That's a
do
big one this
you
week.
quietly, silently root against Texas?
Um,
I
no,
think
I
I think I maybe would. If I was-
it's tough now because the 12 team playoff.
yeah.
Whereas like when they had their big games the last few years, we weren't really like competing
Hmm.
necessarily. Like their big one last year against Alabama, I was not rooting for Alabama.
Yeah.
And then they played Oklahoma, and I don't like Oklahoma. They lost that game. I bet on Texas. I was not super thrilled. This year, I like Quinn Ewers is the
I
problem.
do too. I
I
actually
like
like
him.
Texas a lot compared to the other like kind of evil empire teams.
Yeah, yeah, that's the other thing is they're like I know like Texas football, they've been a thing. They've been
Yeah.
down for most of our like
Like
fan
they are how
lives.
Bama and Georgia lose this year.
Yeah, yeah, which is why I want them to be good because I want them to beat Georgia and I want them to beat Alabama and I want them to beat Ohio State like when it comes if it comes to it in the playoffs. So I don't plus then if they win then she's happy. Then that's, you know, everything's easier.
Yeah, that's a good point. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, other ones I had Kansas State beat Colorado. Colorado is they got a little more guts than I feel. I think a lot of people like to pile on Coach
Yeah.
Prime, but they're a little frisky in the Big 12. I don't think they're going to win the Big 12 or anything
They're
like
better
that,
than they
but
were last year for sure.
yeah. I am still very interested to see what happens when Shador and Travis Hunter leave that fucking program. It's
Yeah.
gonna go be so bad.
Yeah.
And the last thing I had was Uh, I do have a quick graveyard this week. It's a team that I banged the drum for hard preseason. It's Utah. I
Oh,
I was making the excuse that Cam Rising was hurt, and now I mean they stink with him, and he stunk this week. It was,
yep.
and he's also a guy that it it's he doesn't have a great style to then like go get your ass kicked. It's like if Gardner
Yeah.
Minshew just kind of like strolled up and lost by 30. And it's like, well,
Yep.
why you look like Gardner Minshew if you're gonna?
Yeah. 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 No, that's fair. I think they're done. They're dead. It's over.
Yeah, because they lost. Not even. It was literally they won the big game they had to win, and then it's after that two
Yeah.
straight losses to. I mean, not burgers, but like yeah, like Arizona State. That's the team you got to beat. They're still reeling from Herm Edwards.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to win that game with your
Um,
eighth year starting quarterback. Like you just
yeah, big big games this week. Oklahoma State at BYU. BYU might win the fucking Big 12.
they might
Um, Bama at Tennessee, obviously a huge one. There's there's going to start to be a logjam of two lost teams. Like Penn State not having Oregon on the schedule is
is
because
very big.
I was going to have a take if they did play Oregon, where it was essentially if you lose to Oregon or if Penn State loses a game and then you're both one loss them and Ohio State is I hesitate to say it's a play-in because I think the committee would let a two-loss Ohio State in. I don't know that they'd let a two-loss Penn State in, considering some of
Probably
the other
not.
teams that are going to have two. Like, their best hope is that like Tennessee and Ole Miss both crash out, and LSU.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
much.
think what I guess it doesn't matter because we don't play Oregon this year, but I think what would help is that we didn't lose to fucking Arkansas. Like we
Yeah,
lost to Oregon and
yeah.
Oregon and Ohio State. Who the fuck who did Ole Miss just lose to? Who the fuck am I blanking?
Didn't they just lose to Arkansas?
Did they also Tennessee
Wait.
lost to Arkansas?
Oh yeah, my bad, my bad.
No, Ole Miss lost to Kentucky and
Oh,
who the fuck did
LSU,
they
right?
just play?
LSU.
LSU. Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
LSU.
LSU back from the fucking dead. I think I graveyarded them after they lost to USC.
That place looks so sick at night.
Yeah,
It's just rocking.
yeah.
Bunch
Um,
of drunk Cajuns just getting after it down there.
imagine just gumbo, like the gumbo puke lining the sewers there. Oh my god,
Oh, all
gumbo
those
infused.
people just fucking those screaming Cajuns like for
The
fucking
raging cage.
60 minutes and you don't understand a fucking word of what comes out of anyone's mouth.
Yeah, I did watch I watched a video. This guy's been coming up on my TikTok recently that he cooks like just big pots of shit.
Yup.
He
Yeah,
like
I
cooks for the
fucking
whole
love that guy.
he like cooks for the
Yeah.
whole church or some shit like that. He
Is he
made
the one with
gumbo.
is the blonde one that wears the fucking shades?
No,
No,
there's like a
fuck, never
bald
mind. We're
black
talking
dude.
about different people. Oh, we're
Yeah,
talking about different people then.
but yeah, he's got like a big wooden paddle, and he just fucking like he just like tosses shit in there, and then he just turns it over a couple times, and it's so fucking. But yeah, he made gumbo, and I was yeah, that shit looked fucking good.
Dude, I
Uh,
gotta send you. I'm gonna find one of those videos that I'm talking about. I'm gonna send you this guy. You'll be fucking hooked. He's so Cajun. He's just, yeah.
I had that one time where I had a truck driver that was picking up a truck for my work, and I really struggled to. Luckily, I was in Virginia, and there was like other people there that like kind of spoke the tongue a little bit. It's like this guy's not totally out of our dictionary, but it was like yeah. Um, but it's rough. And then yeah, Michigan at Illinois. That's like a loser leaves town for the playoff, but also both teams are probably out of the playoff.
Yeah, I
Um,
think they're both cooked.
and then the big one, like you mentioned, Georgia at Texas, which if Georgia just loses to all the other really good teams, like if they lose to Texas, I think they're still fine. If they also lose to Tennessee, that's a problem for them, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really hard to get in with three losses.
Yeah, and they play Ole Miss too, don't they?
Yeah, they do have a tough schedule.
That's the only thing is if they lose to Ole Miss and Tennessee,
Yeah,
and but they beat Texas, and Texas their only loss is to Georgia. Does Georgia get in as like 11? I think they
I could
might.
see it because they'll
Yeah,
be looking for every reason to put like a Georgia or an Alabama
right.
in.
Yeah,
Um,
where it's like if they have the same record, but they lose to Texas, and their one win out of that group is Ole Miss or Tennessee. Like
yeah,
if the win is Ole Miss, that means they would have lost to Tennessee, and Tennessee will probably end up ahead of them. So that's one less
and
slot for you.
they look bad in SEC play, but they have that win against Clemson that is
Hmm.
shit looking more impressive every week.
That's true. Yeah, and there's man, it's getting clogged up with like teams from non Big Ten and SEC schools. Like Miami's been up there the whole time, obviously, right? But then
Yeah,
like Iowa State 6-0, like if they keep rolling, Notre Dame, the fucking committee loves, or maybe it's just the AP loves them, but like they're still kicking around at 12 with only one loss. BYU is undefeated. Indiana's undefeated. Like I know they're Big Ten, but
yeah,
Kansas State is still up there. Like, there's a lot of teams that they need them to like lose one of their tough games, but also probably lose to somebody who sucks because
yeah,
people are starting to respect them.
yeah. Because I think it would be tough. Like if BYU or like an Iowa State or an Indiana end up with like Indiana's Big Ten, like you said, but still, like those teams end up with one loss and Georgia or Alabama's sitting there with three. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really get how you can put Georgia and Alabama in, even if they probably are a better team. The committees, I think they're gonna have like some tough decisions in like the 9, 10, 11 range of who's getting in.
I forgot to bring this up. This should have been my red flag that Oregon and Penn State don't play each other. There's a universe where there's three undefeated teams that the Big Ten has to figure out who plays for the Big Ten championship because Oregon and Penn State are both undefeated, and also Indiana is still
Oh my
undefeated.
God.
Imagine. That's the problem is like the conference is so big, you can't just be like, well, those two teams will play each other because they don't.
Yeah. What's the name? Is it Signetti, the IUP coach? Or not IUP, Indiana?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's, I
former
like
IUP
him.
coach. Shout out Crimson Hawks, baby.
That is like the Penn State party school that's not a big school.
Yeah, yeah,
Or not Penn State, Pennsylvania.
yeah.
Um, real quick, you do some baseball real quick.
Oh yeah, I got a little time for some baseball.
Um, so where we last left off, the Phillies were eliminated. Nothing else happened really. Definitive. I
Yeah,
was hard on the Pods, and then they just went. They got shut out for what was it, like
24 innings.
24 innings to end
Yeah,
that series
yep,
after the bats were just explosive. And the Dodgers and Mets tied 1-1. They're playing Game 3 tonight. I I can't believe I'm rooting for it, but I just really need the Dodgers to win.
yep.
The
Yeah,
Mets just won the Mania start again.
I think the best thing that can happen for me as just like a hater of a lot of these teams that are left or cities. I don't hate the Guardians, but I hate Cleveland. Um, I'm rooting for Yankees Dodgers because it'll be an exciting series, and I want the Dodgers to win in just whatever way rips the heart out of Yankees fans the
Yeah.
worst.
Either
That's
a
kind of what
sweep
I'm
or
rooting.
7 games.
Yeah, because I know the Mets beating the Yankees would rip Yankees fans' heart out worse than the Dodgers, but I don't want the Mets to win.
Yeah, I don't know that the Yankees. I don't know that it's physically possible for them to lose to the Guardians at this point, but that would be the best case scenario loss, especially now that they're up 2-0
That
because
that hit pretty good. That would hit
right,
really good.
because that's kind of the argument is like if they make it to the World Series and lose, it's kind of been a thing all year that the NL is better than the AL in general,
Yeah,
and the NL probably had, I would say, four of the top five teams like at any given time. Maybe
yeah,
put both of the Yankees and Guardians in there, but even then, you're saying they got like five of the top seven at that point.
yeah,
And so
yeah. I
it's just
agree.
the NL was better, and they could even say we got as far as you could probably expect. Like I don't think they would accept that, but that is a
Yeah.
spin zone that they could make.
You know what's fucking bullshit now that I think about it? Because we talked about this in the playoff preview. Aaron Judge is still a fucking tomato can, and they keep winning games.
Yeah,
Like, what the
they
fuck
intentionally walked Soto with the
to
bases
pitch to
loaded to
Judge?
pitch to him.
And he got out. It was a sac fly, but he didn't fucking do anything.
Right?
Like, he's still just a fucking meatball in the playoffs, and they're winning these games. It's
Yeah,
really pissing me off
it's because
because I
Stanton's
love that
living up to
he
the deal right now.
fucking Verdugo's had like multiple RBI knocks in the playoffs. Where the fuck did that come from? He
Yeah,
stinks.
baseballs ain't the only thing he beats around, bro.
That's right.
And I got a friend who
Women.
will let you know. Yeah,
Women. Yeah, I fucking hate the Yankees. And fucking Garrett Cole, dude. That motherfucker wants to blow playoff games so fucking bad. He loves just getting knocked around in playoff games.
he's such a
And the
nerd
Guardians.
too. Like
He is such a
after they beat
fucking
the
dork.
Royals, they're like, What's the feeling right now?" He's like, "Fired up, drinking
Yeah.
IPAs with the boys." It's like somebody gave him a script, like a
Yeah.
frat guy gave him a script, and it's like, "Here's what you say to sound fucking sick, dude."
Yeah, and he fucking, at least when he was with the Astros and the Pirates, he at least had like the hair and the fucking beard, and
Yeah,
he looked like a guy that was going to go out there and shove it up your ass for 7 innings.
right.
He looks like such a fucking loser
He
now,
does
dude,
look
with
like a
his
fucking dork right
fucking
now.
chin fat and his goddamn short hair.
He looks
And
like,
he
doesn't he look like
wants,
he could just throw on a sweater vest and be ready for school pictures? Like
yeah, dude.
his mom made him dress up way too much for school pictures.
Yeah, that's
He's that
exactly what
guy.
he fucking looks like. And he goes out there and he wants to fucking lose playoff games. And the Guardians were just like, nope, we'll lose it. How about that? How
Yeah,
about we can't come up with a fucking competitive at bat with runners in scoring position the whole fucking game? How about that, Garrett? And
yeah,
he went four and a third, fucking what, one or two earned, something like that. But either way, you only got through four and a third. You gotta score some fucking runs.
yeah. One thing that I am on the Yankee side is with Boone, and I love to make fun of Boone. He is a very easy guy to make fun of. But when somebody asked him about Jose Ramirez, and he was like, "If I hear one more person say how underrated this guy is, I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw my." He's like, "I'm gonna rip my arms off and throw him at the TV or something like that." He is right. How
Yeah.
many times is someone going to say he's so underrated before it's like, well, actually, it sounds like everybody rates him pretty high, and it's
Yeah.
like he almost wins the MVP every year, and it's like,
He might be like underrated for people that like don't follow baseball a
hmm,
lot, that like tune in for the playoffs. But how many of those people are there? Every baseball fan knows how good
watch,
he is.
yeah, for people that only watch their own team and
Yeah.
really have no interest outside of national stories, sure, you don't hear much about him. But even if you're one of those people, like if you watch the All Star game
Mm-hmm.
for the last 10 years, you know who he is because he's an All Star every year at least.
Every year.
It's a
Yeah.
name that comes up. I get
Yep.
it's a kind of common first and last name, but so maybe you lose him in the shuffle. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But he's like been with the same team the whole time. He's been awesome the whole time. He's still fucking awesome. I don't know who thinks he's underrated. He's
yeah,
fucking an awesome baseball player. Has been
yeah.
for half a decade at least.
I think I might have even called him a quiet superstar like on this, but
Yeah.
it's just because nobody gives a shit about the Guardians. It's not like nobody gives a shit about him.
That whole division in general is just like meh.
Right. It's the
Yeah.
same as it's the same as like Bobby Witt, like last year. Like he had a big breakout last year,
Mm-hmm.
and even then, people didn't really give a shit about him. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't until he was second in MVP discussions, pretty much until, and he is second.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
But um,
Yeah. I hope the guards pull. It would be so funny if they like they're going into this pit like this series like the Yankees just beat Bybee. They fucking who pit Alex Cobb pitched
yeah,
game one. They have Matt Boyd here game three. If the Yankees like go up 2-0, one of them beating who the Guardians ace is right now, and they find a way to fucking lose this series, that would make me so goddamn happy.
yeah. I do love how Boyd and Alex Cobb are both guys that for the last five fucking trade deadlines, you've heard people be like, "Oh, like this is a guy who could be a difference maker," and it's like he's gonna like grow it. Or maybe Boyd more so than Cobb, but remember when Matthew Boyd was like second year maybe with the Tigers, and people were like, "Oh yeah, the Tigers are selling everything. Like this is a guy they could get a lot for, and he's got like
Yeah.
5 years of control." And then it's like didn't really finish that good, and the next year it's like, but he's got 4 years of control, and they're like somebody's gonna
Yep.
give him a haul, and then he like still wasn't that good, and like every year it was like this guy,
Yep.
this is who you really want to trade for. It's like I don't know, I think he might just be like a 3.7 ERA guy forever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
and they just got a bunch of those fucking guys kicking around, but it
Yeah.
works because one swing off Scooble.
Yeah. They need to hit. That's basically all it comes down to. They had so many opportunities. They just had so fucking many. And they just didn't really do anything with them.
Yeah, that is a crazy thing in the playoffs. Like when Scooble gave up that grand slam, it comes for everybody. Like on the other side of it, Clase, he
Yeah.
got earlier in that series. Hader like wasn't his best this year, but he got in the Astros departure. He was the one who gave up the big double that eventually led to them
Yeah.
losing. And
Cole's gonna get got. He wants to get got so fucking
yeah, he
bad.
does.
He wants to. He loves giving up playoff homers. They'll get him. That's also the other thing. There's not really like super exciting pitching left for me in these playoffs because like Glasnow's hurt. Um, Cole. I mean Cole's he's great. He's awesome. Cy Young winner. The playoffs have been a different story for him in most of his career.
Yeah.
Um,
I just thought of a great Twitter day. If I could build a Twitter day, I
uh,
would want. And so the Yankees are up 2-0, right? They're coasting. They lose game three, right? Whatever. Lost game three. Who gives a
yeah.
shit? They win game four. All right, 3-1. You know, let's. Who really gives a shit, right? Indian or whoa, Guardians
Whoa.
win it. Guardians win game five, and then it's like you got a whole off day for everybody to be like, we got
Yeah.
two games at home. One of game six is going to be Cole. We're up 3-2, and imagine if they're winning the game like 3-1, and he gives up just a huge like 3-run home run. They
Oh,
lose the panic from game six to game seven in that one
yep.
day where people are trying to convince themselves that they could still win and also like write their eulogy at the same time. That would
Yep.
be an excellent
That would be
baseball
so
Twitter day.
awesome. With the Dodgers just sitting there waiting for him.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would
please.
love that.
That would be so
Yeah,
good. I want
I
them to
really need
lose
that.
so fucking bad.
I
Yeah.
really need the Dodgers to win.
Yeah.
I'm also getting peppered by really my dad, but just like there's like your messenger, like Dombrowski did a press conference today where he was essentially, I mean, he's talked to the media a couple times this week, but he was essentially like he's pretty open about where he thinks guys struggle, but he
Yeah.
wasn't super clear on direction. Like he talked about the outfield, and he was like, "Yeah, we got a guy who plays every day, Castellanos." And Marsh, like if you look at his numbers, he still does a lot of stuff well, which I agree with, and that's an argument I've been making. And then he talked about Rojas can't really hit. Hayes, he kind of he was like, yeah, we got a decision to make on Hayes, but he was like, he just bounced around. And he essentially said that like Stott's still going to be around, and like people are like, what the fuck, like we can't be running it back. I'm like, do you want him to say, well, yeah, we're going to try to trade Brandon Marsh? I'm like, what if you
Yeah,
can't trade him and he's on the team next
yeah,
year and he's under
yeah,
contract for 3 years? People are like, what the fuck? They think we're just going to play with this fucking group, accept this. I get
yeah.
being mad about the entire coaching staff coming back. That's a thing you can be legitimately mad about because Thompson did get extended and he did say he's bringing everybody back. So focus on that. But don't be like, what the fuck? We're like, boom, he's got all these attitude problems. It's like, he might still get fucking traded. It's just, if
Yeah,
you don't trade him, he has 2 more years. Like,
yeah,
calm down.
yeah. That's also, I'm going through this. It kind of already happened because the Pirates season is over. I'm still coming to grips with it. Like, Shelton's back.
Hmm.
We fired the hitting coach, which is, fucking sweet. He sucked. Andy Haynes,
Yeah.
Guantanamo. That guy's
Hmm.
a fucking terrorist. But Shelton was also a hitting coach before he was a manager, and we can't fucking hit.
Saddam
So,
Haynes.
I don't like him. He's statistically, as far as wins loss goes, he's like one of the worst managers ever over a 5 year span.
Nobody's gotten the run that
Nobody,
he's
yeah,
gotten
nobody's gotten the run that he's gotten with the record. We're going into fucking year 6, dude.
without just getting lucky and winning like 80.
Yeah, yeah, 70. What do we win? 77 this year, I think.
Yeah.
We were one win better than last year, and we got Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, Brian Reynolds had a good year. We had O'Neal Cruz, like those three guys we didn't have last year, and we got one fucking game better.
Yeah.
One. God damn it, dude. I just this next year is gonna fucking kill me.
Yeah. I
I
also, do you ever wish that, also, this is the part that we're just going to keep talking about our own teams, but
Yeah.
do you ever, the show's basically over, guys, but do you ever like talk to someone and throughout talking to them, like I had this interaction on Reddit, so it doesn't totally count, but through talking to them, you're like, wow, this person knows a lot less than me about this,
Uh-huh.
but they almost seem better off for it. Like
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
had a guy, I made like this big Reddit post about the Phillies on the Phillies subreddit, and I said something about it was essentially along the lines of Ranger Suarez is a big decision we have to make because we've already invested so much in the rotation, and I basically said like you got to find a good price for him to extend him, and then start trading those prospects, or you just got to ride out 1 more year of him, and then hope that those guys pan out. And then
Yeah.
this one guy starts talking about prospects, and he's like, "I didn't even see you mention Justin Crawford. I hate how we just let guys sit in the minors forever." I was like, his MLB ETA is 2028. I'm like, why? That's the same kind of guy who's like, Rojas can't fucking hit. And it's like, well, he skipped
Yeah.
AAA. He doesn't fucking, he can't hit. He cannot hit MLB pitching. He's a double A
Yep.
hitter.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't know.
That's anyone who knows less about the Pirates than I do is better off than I am.
Yeah.
Because the
And
less
I
you
don't
know, the
know. I
better.
don't think there's many people who are on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Nobody
That's
torments themselves more with the Pittsburgh
I
Pirates.
dude, I don't know why I do it. My dad apologizes to me like multiple times a year. Just like, "I'm sorry I made you like this team." 'Cause he's at the point now, like he's just like if they're good, he'll go watch. Like when they were playing well and Skeens was up, he was watching like Skeens games and stuff like that. But like the minute they start to suck, he's just like, "Well, I'm just not gonna subject myself to this anymore."
Yeah.
Which I did this year, but it took until we were like really out of it for me to
Hmm.
stop. And I'd still watch like Skeens, Jones, like those.
Yeah.
I'd catch a Mitch start, which that's 3 out of 5 games. Like like I'm just,
In
I
a row,
can't,
too, usually.
yeah, yeah. I'm just like, I can't help it. I wish. I cared less about the Pittsburgh Pirates than what I do right now. But I can't quit them.
Yeah.
It's that Russell Martin home run. I'm just fucking chasing it, dude. I've been chasing it for a decade, and I'm still chasing it.
You ever? That's like when people count sheep to fall asleep. You just go Quado,
Yeah,
Quay. It's the
dude. Every time I see that clip on Twitter, I watch it in its entirety. I've watched it 1,000 times already, and
yeah.
that was a wild card game, dude.
When we were in high
That's
school.
when we were in high school. That's the high point of my Pittsburgh Pirates fandom was a wild card game in 2014 or 2013, whatever it was.
Yeah, I do.
God fucking damn it.
I do go back and watch Le'Veon Bell highlights
Yeah.
about once a month. I would say. I go back to the well.
I go back to
Uh,
AB and some Big Ben highlights from time to
yeah,
time. I dabble. Yeah.
yeah. Big Ben comeback
Some guy,
drives are.
well, I told you about this, but one of my buddies at work told me that Troy Polamalu wouldn't translate to today's
Oh my.
NFL. And so I had to go back and watch his highlights, and that guy was unfucking believable.
He's like arguably the best positionless defender ever.
Yeah. It wouldn't translate though because man, fuck, I don't know.
What does that mean?
He said he
Football
wouldn't be
is the
as good
one thing
now.
that, like, across eras, I feel like defenders translate.
Yeah, yeah. It was, oh my God. It was also just such a grueling fucking conversation because there's
Yeah.
no way to,
There's no way to attack it. When every
no.
sentence has three things wrong, at what
Yeah.
point is it just, this is
And
beyond
then,
my
and
powers?
then we got into like looking up his stats and the fact that he had similar stats from Devin McCourty. And it's also like, yeah, if your argument is he played the run more, Palomalu played the run more and they didn't pass as much when he played, wouldn't he probably have more interceptions now than what he
Yeah.
had then? And also, like, when you broke it down into this fucking killed me. McCourty played like 50 more games and had like three more interceptions.
Yeah. And
And
that's also a thing too when you are the type of player like middle linebackers are like this too, where aside from running backs just running into them, giving them like 10 tackles a game, it's kind of hard to judge like what they do. Like Luke Kuechly would be very like he almost lead the league in tackles like every year. It's like, but it's watching him play to play. That's where you see the value. And
yes.
the McAfee thing when he talks about how they had that fake kick, and then he talks
Yep.
about Polamalu in the C gap, and it's like that's the shit where he sees value. When teams have a plan and they see one guy do something that if it's not
Mm-hmm.
the exact thing they planned for, they're like, well, we got to change this now because
Yep.
this might go badly. It's the same
Yep.
as when you watch um, this is like one of my favorite like, peek behind the curtain things I've ever seen is it's a Belichick and Brady. They're having like a whatever day of the week meeting. They're about to play the Ravens, and it's them going through
Mm-hmm.
and finding Ed Reed on like all these plays. And
Yep.
it's like, yeah, like as good as like Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs are, they didn't mention them once, and it's all like, where the fuck is Ed Reed? And it's like that's what
Yep.
it was like when people played the Steelers. It's like, yeah,
Yep.
the pass rush is going to hurry up, but when the ball leaves your hand, Troy Polamalu is the guy that you got to be scared of.
Yep. And that's it. Like that's the thing about him was like, oh, James Harrison was the defensive player of the year, one of those whatever year that was. But
Yeah,
he's lining up to rush the passer every down.
right.
Fucking Ike Taylor's playing cornerback. Brett Kiesel's playing on the line. Like those guys, Farrier's in the middle, whoever Timmons in the middle, whoever it would have been
Mm,
at any given year. But every time, every single play, you got to know, you like have to know where 43 is every
yeah,
time.
and he
But
won a defensive player of the year.
yeah, and not his best season. I looked it up. It like wasn't his best season. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well that's our
Yep.
soapbox. Um,
Yep. Troy Polamalu, one of the greatest ever.
there it is. That's the exclamation point for this week.
Yep.
But yeah, so if you're listening or if you're watching on YouTube, either way, thank you. Try just even if you don't listen the other way, just go hit the sub button. Or, Picks and parlays on both of those. Parlays, Parleys. It's not supposed to be parlays. It is supposed to be. It's a play on words, guys. Don't you guys ever watch medieval times set TV shows and movies where they have a parlay? um, but yeah, so Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, all the good stuff, and also social media. I always forget to plug this, but I should start plugging it every week. We're on Twitter or x.com, whatever you prefer. It's still Twitter to me, at Picks and Parleys. We're doing our weekly picks on here, the unsolicited dick picks parlay, which won this week. It's 1-4. It's pretty big odds to where we got to win we got to go like 1-9 for it to be profitable.
Yeah, if we're 1-4 right now, we're up big.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're good for like 5 more losing weeks, which is probably what it will be. And we're also just getting in the weeds absolutely on Saturdays and Sundays. So
Yep.
look out for that. Instagram, same thing, at Picks and Parleys. We do clips from the show every week. And also you can find the picks on there. And then TikToks as well, for the clips, and then also been banging out some TikTok filters. So I just got on a heater one night where I was like, I found one, and then I just did like 4 or 5, and then I was like, posted them like one a day, and I was like, I think people are gonna think I only own this sweatshirt because I think I'd worn it on the podcast like that day too. Like this guy owns an African painting and one sweatshirt is all
And
this
a sweatshirt.
and a sweatshirt. So that's why I changed up the wardrobe today. But yeah, that's everything. Corey, got anything else?
I'm good. Go Lurs, baby.
Go Lurs. We covered it all. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you all next time.